Have you ever seen something so strange in the woods that your brain tells you to ignore it, but your body starts to tremble without permission? What if the light you thought was a lantern wasn't being held by a person? This story might change the way you see the dark. Kendall, welcome to Nightmare and Fear, your home for terrifying campfire stories you won't forget. I'm aiming for 1,000 subscribers, and your support truly keeps these nightmares alive. So if you enjoy spine-chilling stories, subscribe and join us before the next shadow moves behind you. I've camped alone plenty of times before. It clears my head. No phone. No people. Just trees, wind, and my thoughts. Last October, I drove up to Westwood Forest, a stretch of quiet wilderness in Oregon. The place isn't on any tourist map. No marked trails. Which is exactly why I chose it. I found a spot deep between tall cedar trees, pitched my tent, and lit a fire. As night fell, the woods felt thicker, heavier. Almost like they were watching me. At around 1:30 a.m., just as I was dozing off, I heard a bell. Not a cowbell. It sounded delicate, like something from a child's bicycle. Ting, ting, ting. Then I saw it. A lantern light, about 50 yards away, swinging slowly between the trees. Orange. Gentle. Floating. I figured maybe someone else had wandered into the woods. But who camps that deep, without a flashlight? I watched it for maybe 2 minutes. And then it stopped. Not just the movement. The light itself flickered out. Everything went black. Dead silent. Then the screaming started. It wasn't a scream of pain. It was a high-pitched, inhuman wail echoing through the forest. Like a person trying to mimic a scream, but getting it all wrong. It kept going for a full minute. I froze inside my tent, knife in hand, breathing like a hunted animal. Then it stopped. Just silence. I didn't sleep that night. By daylight, everything looked normal. I thought maybe I imagined it. Sleep deprived, anxious. But that afternoon, while gathering firewood, I found something. A lantern. Old. Rusted. Cold to the touch. Still slightly warm at the handle. And beside it, a torn piece of red cloth. It looked like it had been part of a child's dress. I left it where it was. That night, the light returned. Closer this time. Swinging back and forth like a pendulum. And then I heard footsteps around my tent. No voice. No flashlight. Just crunching twigs circling me. I yelled, "Who's there?" No answer. Just that distant ting, ting, ting. Then a whisper, so close to the tent I could hear the lips move. "Come, see what I found." I didn't unzip that tent. I couldn't. I waited till dawn, then I ran. Left the tent. The gear. everything. I never went back. But sometimes, at night, when the wind is still, I swear I hear that bell in my dreams. And the light, it swings just beyond the trees. Not every lantern guides you to safety. Some lead you to where the screams begin. If this story kept your heart racing, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. Because there are many more stories to tell. And some of them are waiting for you. Have you ever noticed something that wasn't there the day before? A shadow, a building, a cabin, one that shouldn't exist. What would you do if you stepped inside and the door disappeared behind you? Fire, welcome to Nightmare and Fear, where we bring your worst camping nightmares to life. I'm chasing a big goal, 1,000 subscribers. So if you enjoy terrifying, original stories, hit that subscribe button now, before the cabin returns. It was supposed to be a reunion trip. Me, Ryan, Ava, and Kyle. We'd all grown up together, and now, 10 years later, we planned one last adventure. One last camping trip in the mountains of Vermont. We picked a secluded spot near the old Pine Hollow Trail. The area was known for its fog and dead radio signals, but we wanted quiet. We wanted nostalgia. The first day went fine. We set up camp, built a fire, shared drinks. The forest was still, silent. But on the second morning, Ryan pointed at something in the distance. Was that cabin there before? I turned, and there it was. A cabin, maybe 100 feet off from our site. Weathered, blackened wood. No smoke, no sound. Just standing there. It was impossible. We'd walked that path yesterday. It was empty. I swear to God, Ava muttered, that wasn't there before. We argued about it for an hour. Kyle said maybe we missed it. But I knew we didn't. We approached it that afternoon. No path. No mailbox. Just moss-covered steps and a half-open door. Inside, it smelled like mold, burnt wood, and something faintly metallic. There were no windows. No furniture. Only a single object sat in the center of the room. A chair. Facing the corner. I stepped closer. Something scratched into the floorboards below it. Faced the wall to leave. I felt a pulse under my feet. Like the floor was breathing. I turned to leave. But the door was gone. Not closed. Not hidden. Gone. Only wall now. I shouted. Banged the wall. Ava screamed my name from outside. Then silence. Total. Deafening. Silence. And then, I heard breathing. Not mine. Not behind me. Under me. Something was in the floor. Moving. Waiting. I backed toward the chair. And suddenly, I understood what the message meant. Face the wall, to leave. I didn't want to, but I had no choice. I sat down, faced the wall, and the scratching began. Claws, scraping wood, getting closer, coming up from beneath. I closed my eyes. Then, silence. When I opened them, the door was back. Sunlight pouring in. The others said I'd only been inside for 2 minutes. But to me, it felt like hours. We packed and left immediately. The next day, we came back with rangers. There was no cabin. Not even a footprint. Just 4 terrified kids. And a piece of paper left on the ground where the door had been. It read, "You didn't face it long enough. Some cabins you build, others appear for you." If this story chilled your spine, help me reach 1,000 subscribers. hit that subscribe button and stay close to the fire. Because in these woods, the next nightmare could be yours. Have you ever felt like something was watching you? But when you turned around, there was nothing there. Not an animal. Not a person. Just a feeling. Like the woods were breathing. With something inside them. Studio microphone, this is Nightmare and Fear, and I'm here to bring you true horror from the darkest places in the wild. I'm aiming for 1,000 subscribers, and your support makes it possible for these nightmares to keep coming. If you love original, terrifying stories, make sure to subscribe now, before it finds its way to your camp. My name is Ethan, and I don't talk about this trip anymore. Not with friends. Not even in therapy. But maybe, if I tell it here, someone else will believe me. Last summer, my girlfriend Claire and I decided to go off-grid for a few days. She found a remote forest in Washington state, untouched, unmarked, with no reception and no human traffic. That was the appeal. We drove up, parked near a dried riverbed, and hiked about 4 miles in. No sounds. No planes. No people. It was perfect. Until the second night. We set up our tent near a ring of pine trees that seemed oddly uniform. Too evenly spaced. Too symmetrical. Claire joked, it's like someone planted them on purpose. That night, after a quiet dinner, we climbed into the tent. The fire was low. The air was colder than it should have been for August. I was halfway asleep when I heard it. A branch snapped. But not the usual crack from wind. This was heavy. Deliberate. I sat up, listening. Claire whispered, "Did you hear that?" Another snap. Then another. Getting closer. I grabbed the flashlight, unzipped the tent, and shined the beam into the dark. Nothing. Just trees. We thought it was maybe a deer. Maybe a bear. But that didn't explain the pattern. Every 10 seconds, like clockwork, another branch cracked. Left. Right. Behind. Always out of reach. And then it stopped. Dead silence. Until we heard the whisper. Not a voice. Not English. Just breath and shape from somewhere above. Something in the trees. Watching us. Claire clutched my arm. We're not alone. I turned off the flashlight. And for a second, I saw it. 2 glowing shapes, like eyes. But higher than any animal. 10 feet up, maybe more. Blinking slowly. Not with curiosity. With intent. We didn't sleep. At dawn, we packed in a rush and started hiking out. But something was wrong. The trail had changed. The rock formations we'd seen on the way in? Gone. The riverbed? Dry and cracked, like it hadn't seen water in years. It was as if the forest had shifted. Or worse, we weren't in the same forest anymore. By the 3rd hour of hiking, the trees started getting closer together. Twisting. Warped. And that's when we saw it. A pile of animal bones. Arranged in a perfect circle. Inside it, a small, wooden figure. Crude. Hand-carved. And tied with our tent rope. Claire started crying. I couldn't speak. We were being hunted. Not by a person. Not by an animal. But by whatever lived in the trees. We ran. No direction. No logic. Just away. Branches tore at our arms. The sun began to vanish behind thick, unnatural fog. And then, we heard our names. Not shouted. Not spoken. But whispered from every direction. Ethan. Claire. Stay. The same breathy, inhuman tone. Like the forest had learned our names. When we finally broke through the tree line, we collapsed by the car. We had only been gone 2 days. But our phone said 5. Claire never spoke again about what happened. She She left me 3 months later. I still hike, but I never camp. Not deep, not alone. And sometimes, when I close my eyes, I still hear the branches breaking in rhythm. 10 seconds apart. Always closer. Some things in the forest don't hunt you right away. They watch. They wait. And when you're deep enough, they follow you home. Do you remember the last time you slept peacefully under the stars? You thought you were alone. But what if something was out there, just beyond the firelight? Something that doesn't need to eat, doesn't need to speak. It only waits for night. Fire, welcome to Nightmare and Fear. I'm working toward my next big goal, 1,000 subscribers. If you love original, spine-chilling campfire horror stories, tap subscribe now and help the fear spread. My name is Jordan, and I haven't slept since that night. Not really. Not without hearing the sound of someone breathing just inches from my ear. It happened 3 years ago. 4 of us went out to the Lark Pine Reserve, a forgotten patch of forest in Oregon, closed to the public decades ago. We weren't supposed to be there, which, of course, made us want to go even more. It was me, my sister Dana, her boyfriend Marcus, and my best friend Leo. We brought a tent, 2 flashlights, and just enough food for a weekend. The place was untouched. The trees were massive, ancient. The silence felt unnatural, not peaceful, heavy. We found an old clearing with the remains of what looked like a foundation. Burnt stone, rotten wood. There was a symbol carved into the center rock, like a circle with teeth. Leo said it looked metal as hell and set up the fire right on top of it. The first night started fine. We told dumb ghost stories, laughed, made us memories. But around 1 a.m., Dana woke us up. I hear someone crying. We listened, and sure enough, somewhere in the woods, deep but not far, we heard it too. A woman, softly, like she was trying not to be heard. Marcus said it was probably an animal, but it sounded too human and too sad. The crying stopped. We sat in silence for an hour, clutching our flashlights, scanning the trees. And then we heard it, breathing, not from around us, from above. Leo was the first to look up. Guys, there was something in the tree above our tent, curled between the branches, pale, thin, its head tilted the wrong way. We ran out of the tent so fast we trampled the fire. Dana was screaming. Marcus froze. But I swear, it smiled at me. We packed up within minutes. Didn't care about gear. Didn't care about the trail. Just ran. No signal. No map. Only moonlight. And that's when we saw them. Dozens of trees. With ropes. Hanging. Nooses. But nothing in them. Except one rope still swayed. Freshly cut. And carved into the tree behind it, the same symbol we saw at the campfire. The circle with teeth. Under it, you weren't invited. We walked until dawn. Somehow found the car. None of us slept the next night. Or the next. Every time we closed our eyes, we heard breathing. Always right behind us. 3 months later, Marcus was hospitalized for sleep psychosis. Leo moved across the country. Dana never leaves home after dark. And me? I haven't slept for more than an hour in years. Because no matter where I go, at 1 a.m., I still hear someone crying. Right outside my window. Don't camp where you're not welcome. Some places don't want visitors. And some want you to stay forever. Help me reach 1,000 subscribers and keep the darkness alive. Hit subscribe now, before your next campsite looks too familiar. What would you do if the forest started whispering to you? Not in your head. Not from the trees. But from beneath your feet. My name's Trevor, and I wasn't supposed to be at Red Ash Campground. Not because it was dangerous, but because it didn't exist on any recent map. It used to be a Boy Scout site in the 60s, but was shut down after an incident. The kind of thing you only hear in whispers on forgotten message boards. That's exactly why I went. I brought one person with me, my cousin Miles. We were both into urban legends, and Red Ash had the right flavor of don't go there that made it impossible to resist. It took us 2 hours of rough hiking to reach the old grounds. All that was left was a collapsed fire ring, a half-rotted cabin, and dozens of wooden stakes poking out of the earth. As if someone tried to build something but gave up halfway. I should have turned around right then. We pitched our tent near the edge of the tree line, where the grass felt oddly soft. It wasn't mud. It was more like air pockets. Like the ground had been hollowed beneath. That night, around 3 a.m., I woke up to a faint tapping. Soft. Rhythmic. Tap, tap, tap. Miles thought it was squirrels. But the taps weren't coming from the trees. They were coming from under the tent. I pressed my ear to the ground. At first, nothing. Then, I heard it. A voice. Far away, muffled by layers of soil. Let me out. I froze. Miles was staring at me from across the tent, pale. I heard it too, he whispered. We didn't sleep. The next morning, we tried to laugh it off. We even stayed another night, out of stubbornness. That was the mistake. At exactly 2:37 a.m., the earth moved beneath us. Not like an earthquake. More like something was crawling, slowly, under the ground, in a circle, around our tent. We grabbed the flashlight and bolted outside. No animals. No wind. Just that soft tapping, echoing up through the dirt. Now all around us. Then, the stakes we saw earlier, they started shaking. Every single one. Violently. As if something beneath the surface was trying to burst through. And then we saw it. A small, pale hand. Pushing up from the soil between the stakes. Then another. Then dozens. No bodies. Just hands. Grasping. Twitching. Reaching. Miles screamed and took off. I followed. But the forest was different now. The trees looked melted. The moon had vanished. And behind us, the sound of hundreds of voices rising from the ground in unison. Stay with us. We made it out just after dawn. No one believed us. Not the police. Not the ranger we tried to report it to. But the next week, Miles stopped talking. He just sits in his room, drawing circles. Circles with tiny black hands around the edge. Sometimes, when I try to sleep, I feel the mattress shift. Like something is tapping underneath. I don't camp anymore. I don't walk on bare soil. And if you ever find a place where the earth feels soft, don't stay the night. There are places where the ground remembers what was buried. And what's still trying to come back. If this story got under your skin, hit subscribe and help me reach 1,000 brave souls. You never know what's just beneath the surface.